Good morning. Hand today is going to be Jack 10 of clubs. In this hand, I am in the low jack, open raise. We get one call on the button, and we see a flop. So, raise first in. I'm going with fairly wide range. This player, 17-12, his 3-bet by position is like 4% in the cutoff. Plays about 17 in the cutoff, 20% in the button. He does look like he is positionally aware. Pre-flop, looks like he calls about 9% or so in the cutoff, 7%. So 9 calls maybe a little bit more in the cutoff than he than the button, and raises a little bit less. I'm thinking we're targeting something like this, some range with these mid-pocket pairs, some of these suited connectors, broadways, suited broadways, maybe Jack 9, Ace Jack, King Queen, something like that. That's 7%. I assume he's gonna 3-bet like Jacks plus Ace Queen plus Ace Jack, suited King Queen, and so forth. I'm gonna go with this. I do have a lot of notes on him. You could see I do make a note that he might belong to a training site. Just based on some of his better play, some of the moves that I've seen. His name matches a poster in the forums or on Discord, so I think we've got a lot of stuff here that I think he's probably a pretty tight range. So we take flop of Ace A6 to clubs. Aces I don't like the aces, but we've got some clubs. We've got ace high potential. This is a hand where I think we're probably going to be checking and then planning check raise some of the time. I think villain's range is fairly tight, so you can see that he is going to be hitting 3 of a kind full house about 12% of the time. We're hitting it much more because we should have all of these suited aces. So the question is, what hands do we bet? Which hands do we check raise? I think this is probably out of position against this player. His fold to c-bet stats are actually fairly low. I do think he's going to be floating a lot, so I don't think we're going to be betting a whole lot. I think we're going to probably be doing quite a bit of check call and probably quite a bit of check raises. So I think our full house is probably going to be somewhat of a check raise. So we would be checking it, and then our 3 of a kind, I think a lot of them are going to be check raises. We're going to probably use more of these full 3 of a kinds as bets though. And some of them as check calls. So like ace king, ace queen could be a bet. I guess I should do that. They could be a bet. Maybe, I don't know about ace 2, ace 3. Maybe ace jack is going to be like 50%. We're going to balance those with maybe some of our flush draws. But again, we're at, we got a lot of these. Turn those 8%. Yeah, the flush draws, I think we're going to have a lot of more check calls there. I think we're going to probably use our pocket fours, pocket fives as bluffs. And maybe also like our 5-6, 7-6 as bluffs. I think that's going to be for some balance, and then maybe like these hands for our bluffs. I think so. What do I do? Hopefully I checked. I did check. I think this is a good board to check. We're either way ahead or we're going to be way behind when we have our ace. And I think this is a board against this player where I bet he's going to call. He's going to float a lot. So I check, he bets, and then we have to decide to call or raise. So once we check, what kind of hands is he doing this with? I think he is going to be attacking with a lot of these top pair plus, probably his flush draws as well. So I think we're looking at something like this. I do kind of expect him, and that's why we don't want to bet and then face a raise by these hands, which I think he's capable of doing. I guess we could also include those pocket pair below the boards, like pocket fives. So it comes back to us, hands that we check raised. So I think a full house probably gets check raised. We should. Quads are probably just a check call. So we're going to do a check call there. Full house, we're probably, I mean, there's a good chance we just check call with a6s. But with sixes, we check raised. We're hoping he has one of those aces when we have sixes, and he'll pay us off. Especially ace with a good kicker. I think we are calling with these. I don't think we're calling with any of those. And I don't even think pocket pair less than the top card, all of them are going to be. I think we're possibly going to be doing like a check raise with some of those. Oops. Maybe with like sevens and eights. And then our flush draws, I do think we're calling. We're not ready to fold them. I think we're check calling that. So we still have a mix of good hands and draws. See what I did. I called. I'm having a hard time justifying check raising with like our King X hands. I mean, I guess we could. Those are our premium flush draw hands, and that if we check raise now, we're getting money in, because if a club gets there, it's going to be hard for ace-x to call. Maybe that is our play. All right, so we see a turn of a 9 of diamonds. It doesn't improve us. We're checking 100% of our range here. Villain bets half pot, so we're going to go back to the flop. He bet half pot. Now he bets half pot again. What is he doing this with? I think at this point, I think he could have these middle pairs and pocket pair less than the top card. He could be doing that. I kind of think flush draw maybe might not be. It might not bet all of this with flush draw. We'll say 66% of the time he's doing it with the flush draw. Kind of makes sense for a flush draw to check behind. Kind of makes sense for the middle pair to check behind too. Unless he thinks that, I'm just on a draw. So it's one of these things. Let's put 66% as well on for tens and for this middle pair. It's a 2/3 chance that he'd do that. All right, so that's what he's betting. Once it comes down to us, do we have a raising range? Yeah, we could. I think, again, quads are probably just a check call. I think ace-9, ace-6 are probably just check calls. Nines, I think, are a check raise. I mean, with ace-9, ace-6, we've got just the board slammed, but with nines, he can actually have his ace. Three of a kind, probably just all calls. At this point now, he's bet twice. I think we're probably going to have to be calling these, and that's about it. Flush draw. Yeah, I think some of our flush draws are going to be bet check raised. They're going to have to take a stance, but the way the board runs out, like 10-8 could be a check raise because we have a gut shot along with our flush draw. And if we didn't do it with these, the 8-7, I think we would check raise. So something like that. So we did call. Queen comes out. Queen of spades. Could we bet? Could we lead? Yeah, I think at this point we're gonna lead our quads. I think we're gonna lead our full houses. Maybe not our queens though. I think ace nine, ace six leads. I think with our queens, we're gonna check and see if he bets again. I think he would bet with his aces. Any bets, half pot, and we go for a raise. Maybe. I think it's gonna be hard for ace to queen, or for aces and ace x hand to fold. I do think check the three of a kind. We're probably going to be check calling ace jack ace 10. I think we're getting down to this part where it's like, do we really call again at this point? Because now he's bet 3 times. If he bets again, I can't justify calling with any of these hands. And then we're going to have our nothing hands that, are misdraws that could be used as bluffs here. If we do all of them, we'd have to add in some of these hands. Maybe just something like that for our bets, but I didn't. I think I checked, and villain checked behind. So I think I've got some hands that probably aren't in there. I mean, they could be. It's just kind of how you play it, mix it up. This player, once he checks behind, I don't think he has a full house. I think he could have a 3 of a kind, 10s, and he could have any of those pairs at this point. So we show it down. He shows ace jack, and that was ace jack offsuit. I had that in there, so I'm gonna add that to his notes. Yeah, so he call low jack, 3 big wig RFI in cutoff with a spade jack of hearts. He is in position, bet 50%, bet 50%, check on ace of diamonds, ace of clubs, six of clubs, 9 of diamonds, queen of spades. All right. So I did check this out in GTO real quick. So big decision was this, what do we do? And I thought I'd be checking quite a bit, but actually we're GTO saying we're betting on this board, possibly because he has so few aces. We know he does have some, but we should be betting. What are some of the checks? Flush draws. So we have some flush draws. We got some 2-card backdoor flush draws. Okay, yeah, I could get that. So we should have bet. Once he checks, he bets. We don't really have a whole lot of cards, so we should be betting half pot here. He's definitely going to be calling. I was afraid that he was probably going to raise. I guess if he raises, we just fold a lot of our hands. Jack 10 clubs will call. We're raising quads. I kind of assume that even with our aces, we're going for a check because we've got them all covered. But I guess it's such a good bluffing hand, bluffing board. Because really, there's only 2 aces left that we go out and bet half pot. And then if he calls, what do we do? And that's going to be, I think, the most likely scenario. We bet he calls, and then we get to this decision. And then still, we're betting 10 jack. We're betting some of our flush draws, not all of them, surprisingly. So king jack, jack 10. Why those, but not like king queen, king 9? Don't know. In any case, we're going to have to wrap this up. So I missed out the c bet. I think that was a problem. That's according to GTO. I think if we bet again and he calls, then I can't think that we're checking. We do have some bluffs here. These are like the non-clubs. I guess we're bluffing with the non-clubs because we want to give him possibility of having in the club draws. So I think that makes sense. But then we would be checking. We're betting our 3 of a kind pluses, 3 streets with 3 of a kind. Once we check, if he bets, we're just calling with a full house. If we bet and he raises at this point, we are getting tight. Our full houses get raised, so like the ace X hands. Pocket sixes get called, but quads are just a call. 3 of a kind are just a call if we have it on there. Alright, so I was too passive on this hand. That's what it looks like. Take some notes on it and hopefully not do it again next time I get one of these big situations. Yeah, but right now, I think key here is that my range, I was much more likely to hit this board than he was, so it seems like GTO wants us to be betting that. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.